Hello.
Hi.
How's it going?
Good. Thank you. How are you?
Good. How was your week?
Good so far. Yeah. It's a busy week, good week, like all the good kind of busy for now. So fingers crossed, touching wood, doing all the things. How was yours?
Pretty good. Pretty good. What did I do? I've been reconnecting with all my home people because I'm
Oh,
back at home. So I have this friend group here. That's just my friends from high school and college. Obviously, a lot of my friends left, but a lot of my friends stayed here. So I've been socializing with them on the weekends and stuff, and it's been super nice. I went to a polo match, which was
wow. So cool.
there's a polo match place in my town, which I had never gone to growing up.
Oh, there we go.
And it's really fun actually to see all the horses run around and then you can
Okay.
bring
Tell us something you learned at the polo match
gosh.
or something new that you saw.
You want to know what was cool? There were female polo players.
Huh.
I didn't expect that. I thought they were
There
all
were
going to be,
teams?
yeah, on the teams. They just let women play because the riders have to be small men. So why not just have women? I guess. I don't know. But that was kind of nice.
I genuinely know nothing about polo. But yeah, my brain would have gone with the same logic as many other sports, where it's like women's team and men's teams. But that sounds kind of nice.
Yeah, that was really nice. But to be honest, I was talking with my friends the whole time and barely watched the game. I would just look up and see horses galloping and feel the sunshine and then turn to my friends and chat with them and eat chips. So that's what we were doing.
Sounds like a lovely time.
So yeah. But today, do we have to introduce ourselves again? What do you think?
Why not?
Okay. You start, Anne Claire.
Well, hi everyone. My name is Anne Claire. I'm an eating disorder recovery coach based in Belgium. I'm also a yoga teacher and a founding partner of the Recovery Collective with Meg.
Yay! And my name's Meg. I'm a CCI eating disorder recovery coach. I am the founder of the Recovery Collective, and Anne Claire has been with me literally from the very start. It's been amazing. And I am the host of the Full and Thriving podcast, which I'm very excited about. So that's who we are.
Yeah. And what are we even doing here?
Well, we are. What are we doing?
It's like, hold on, Anne Claire. What are we doing again?
What are we doing here?
We're answering questions that we receive regularly, either in one-on-one sessions or through the Recovery Collective or on Instagram.
Yes, that's exactly what we're doing. So if you are someone in eating disorder recovery, we suppose this might be helpful for you. So tune in.
And if you want to submit extra questions, I typically submit an open box for questions every Monday because I also do an Instagram Live on Tuesdays. So if your question doesn't get selected for that, it might actually get selected for this.
So you have to watch both.
Well, at least submit the questions if you a chance of getting the answer. But yeah, why not watch both? Also, any idea might be transformed into a podcast. Who knows?
Yeah, so true. We love podcasts. Let's do it. Let's dive in. What is question number one?
Question number one is, what is your go-to lazy meal for when you really don't feel like cooking?
Ooh, that's good. It depends on the definition of cooking, right?
Oh, yeah. I get just like the meal. Like, what would be the meal like?
So honestly, my lazy meals require like a lot of frozen stuff. That's my lazy thing. And I think we need to normalize frozen foods. So I will go to Trader Joe's. They have amazing frozen foods. Usually when I want to be lazy, I'm not cooking for anyone else but myself. So I will get frozen pork dumplings from Trader Joe's that you just fry up on the pan. You steam them a little, you fry them a little. And I guess that's like easy. It's kind of cooking, but it's not because you're not actually making the dumplings yourself. You're just heating them up.
Uh-huh.
So you fry them a little till they're like a little crispy. Then you make sure they're steamed a little so it's not frozen in the middle. And then I'll typically do some sort of veggies with that, or maybe even 10-minute boil in a bag rice.
That's already quite a bit of cooking.
That's my lazy meal.
Like when you said frozen food, I was like, yeah, like I have freezer foods where you just like open the pack, dump it in a pot, warm it up, done. Like the mix is already there, right? It has like the carbs, the veggies, the protein sources, it's all in there. Maybe I'll add like literally like a drizzle of olive oil or like some extra like shrimp or whatever typically that I have in my fridge anyways, but that only requires to open the pack, turn it upside down, let it fall in the pot. That is my lazy kind of cooking with freezer foods.
Well, that's the way to do it. Like I was also going to say, Trader Joe's has fried rice that has some veggies in it, some chicken in it, you can choose what kind you want.
That's the winner.
And so you can just dump that in and then add whatever's in your fridge. So if you have leftover veggies or more protein or whatever, you can add that in. And that's also the winner for me. It's just not as common as the dumplings. I'm a big dumpling fan.
Okay. I'm also regularly having just like a frozen pizza. Like granted, they're not as good as a pizza in a restaurant or a pizza that you can order that is freshly made. And also ordering is a great way to have a lazy kind of meal. But we all know that costs quite a bit extra. So the freezer pizza is like cheap, fast, easy, whatnot. Is it the best? No. Does it do the job? Yeah. So that's one other option. Other than that, I was going to say actually, bread toppings done. Like buy a baguette, chop it, like as you and I have done when we were in Portugal. Just like open the baguette, make a sandwich, like put whatever like in there, like salmon, cream cheese, cucumber, done. Or just like ham, cheese, salad. And it took 3 minutes tops to actually make, and it's done. I really like that.
Yeah.
It's so easy and it's yummy. I mean, for me, it's yummy because we have good bread over here.
I know. I like casual baguette. I don't think that's a thing over here. So I'm just dealing with really boring sliced bread.
Yeah. No, that's not the same.
But I was buying like these nice loaves of bakery bread. They're not baguettes. They're like just a loaf of, I don't even know what kind. That was a while ago. And it would just mold really easily. So I had to stop. But fancy bread can elevate any meal and it makes the meal 10 times better. I'm not into healthified bread. Like in the US, they will have bread that's been kind of manufactured to be really like, quote, healthy. And it is not as good as just like a fresh baguette.
Yeah, no, I can confirm every single time I go to the US, I'm there and I can enjoy many other foods, but bread is not one of those foods. It's very rarely one of those foods that I'm like so excited to have. You've got plenty other options that just do the job, but bread, not your forte.
Can we bring it back to the pizza for a second before we move on? So I'm a huge fan of frozen pizza. I think it's delicious. I think it's extremely underrated. There are some really good quality out there. And also, I'm not super picky about pizza. And I'm from Connecticut and it has a good reputation for pizza here.
Oh, yeah?
It does. Like arguably better than New York pizza. I don't know. I think they're all relatively the same because I'm not like a pizza connoisseur. But I don't think pizza can be messed up too terribly. Even when it's frozen, it's always going to be good. Like cheese, sauce, crust, toppings, warm, gooey deliciousness. Like I'm into it. So good.
I hear you're into it. I will say, I love it as an option. I am definitely of the team that believes that the fresh one from the corner Italian restaurant is on a different scale good. But let's be real. We're talking about I'm hungry. I don't have time to take care of stuff. Maybe I don't want to spend money, or I don't have that money to spend to have the fresh pizza. The frozen pizza is just so fine. Like, but it's yummy too. It's just different kind of yummy, right? It's a pizza. Let's have it. It's food, right? Food is functional often, and that's fine. It doesn't always have to be the best, and yada yada. Definitely not something I could do in recovery or when I was suffering from my eating disorder, though. So I know these are hard, and we're very aware of that, both you and I, that what we're saying, like, just grab a piece of bread, just stuff stuff in there and have the piece of bread, or grab the frozen pizza and have that. We're very aware that this is really hard. And that also means we are very aware of the benefits of food freedom and haven't fought to be where we're at now, because it means that instead of having an evening that turns into internal or external war because we cannot figure out what to have, we're hungry, hangry, and nothing's possible, feasible, yada yada. And it's really like a snowballing effect, isn't it? Because you're like, you don't have time, maybe you don't have the money, you're hungry, like everything's pissing you off, and everything that may be actually available is something that you have decided arbitrarily was not okay to eat, quote unquote, not okay to eat. These foods, now that they're available, it's like so nice. Like, it takes the stress levels down a good few notches for me personally.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I completely agree. And I feel like this brings up another important point, which is in recovery, you really do have to be intentional with making sure you have access to food in your own house. I feel like there's so many people who just keep food out of their house or really limit it. And so when a dietitian comes up to them and says, you need 3 meals a day and 3 snacks, and this is the format of like kind of what you should create a snack. That's what this should look like. They look at their stuff in their house when it's snack time, and they don't really have any snacks that are appealing or really even available to them. So I think having those convenient foods on hand is so important to be able to meet your requirements for nourishment in a bind, right? So be intentional with your grocery list if you can be, and that's something you can build with your dietitian or your coach.
And we mentioned frozen food, canned food, second category of really nice food to have on hand. It's just so easy. Just like, it's usually a lot cheaper, and you don't need any special fancy way to store that food, which I appreciate because I don't have a massive fridge. So second category of food to make sure to add on that grocery list.
Yep. So question for you, what's your favorite kind of snack? Like, what's your favorite go-to snack?
So I have 3.
You have 3? Just like swirling in your brain? That's pretty cool.
Chocolate cookies in Europe, Belgium, somewhere not far from where I live. Best ones are called dinosaurs. So basically they're like little dinosaur shapes. Like I'm 5 years old, but they're just so good. They're like a butter cookie, and then there's a layer of chocolate on top. And we have like 25 versions of these, but those ones are just the best. So those ones, or any chocolate cookie, but might as well just say that those are the better ones. Or like a yogurt fruit muesli bowl sort of situation, because that's really a nice one when I know I'm like either getting hungrier than I had expected, or when I know that my next meal is going to be maybe later than what I might be used to and my body's expecting. And so that ties me up nicely, because it's really like it kind of hits all the categories of components of food. And then the third one is actually crisps. I really like a nice pack of crisps, or like bowl of crisps, especially when like it gets to 5, 6 p.m. and it's like that little introduction to dinner later. So that would be my snack then.
I love your little snack repertoire over there.
Okay, now you have to tell me what your favorite snack or snacks is.
So I have one standout, and it is cheese in any form. Like cheese and crackers. I'm all about string cheese. It is the most satisfying snack on the planet. I love cheese. Why are you laughing at me?
Because it's not real cheese. I'm European. That's not cheese.
String cheese is, I know it's not quality cheese. It's not technically but
it's just funny because to me, cheese is so such a meal component, but not out of a weird rule. It's just, I love it so much that I feel like if I had it as a snack, it would end up being a meal.
It is just so satisfying. Like it feels filling and satisfying and delicious. So I will have like slices of cheese and crackers. That is my like favorite thing. And then another thing that I will definitely graze on, actually, this is not a sponsored.
Oh, good choice.
Leftover from yesterday. Literally on my desk.
Better ones are the pretzel ones, in my humble opinion.
I'm all about the pretzel ones too. Those are
and they don't have them in Europe. Can you believe it?
You guys are missing out. I don't know how you live with such limitations over there.
No.
The variety lacking sometimes.
I must say, my family knows that, and I have family living in Chicago. I've been known to receive a massive box of, you know how you have those packs where you have like mini packs in them? They would send those my way. She'd be like, here's your gift. And, I'm all for those sorts of gifts. I'll have them. No problem. Please send me M&M pretzels.
You get like 10 shipments of M&M pretzels from...
yeah.
Massive millions of viewers we have.
Yes, please. Please contact me in my DMs. I will give you my address and you can send me pretzels or real pretzels if you're from Germany. But those are good only when they're really fresh. So different deal.
I don't know. I once had a friend say to me, if I were M&Ms, I'd fear you. Because I will just munch on M&Ms. They are like my favorite thing. M&Ms are scared of me, apparently. And then my other favorite snack, because we're doing 3. This is tough, honestly, because I'm very open to my snacking possibilities, but I love a good chips and salsa too.
Yeah.
With lunch.
What about guac?
I'm kind of like, okay, I used to really be into guacamole, but at this point in my life, I'm kind of over guacamole. It's overdone.
Okay.
I like it at a restaurant. I guess I'm weirdly picky about it. I wasn't like that before. I think it's about avocado. Me and avocado are going through a weird phase in our relationship right now.
Okay. Well, I hope it gets better because I like avocado.
I kind of like avocado. I don't like how it turns very easily.
Now that is true. That is just not cool. Lately, I've been having the same issue with my bananas. It's like they're green and then they're ripe for half a day, but all of them. And obviously you don't buy one banana, you buy, a bunch. And then it's like they're all ripe at the same time. And it's like, okay, thanks. Now I can eat 5 bananas today.
That is your day to eat the bananas. That's your sign.
Like today's banana day. Yeah. I guess the last time that happened, I made banana bread, which,
so
the worst things that could happen. But I don't have time to make banana bread every week. So
honestly, banana bread is so delicious. And ironically, I don't like bananas.
What? Huh.
But I will eat banana bread.
It's not like it tastes of just bananas. So I guess that kind of makes sense.
There's like sugar and butter and all the delicious things in there.
Yeah, the flour, the cinnamon, maybe nuts as well. So the magic is in the mix, not just the banana.
Yeah.
So that's us talking about, what were we talking about? Easy meals.
Easy meals. Convenient, easy meals.
And top snacks.
So everyone watching, let us know what your favorite snacks are and meals in the comments.
Please do. Also, please, if you say cookies or something, please tell us which ones exactly, because, we never know. Maybe we'll discover something cool.
Exactly. We're always open to this. We're open to new suggestions.
And it means that next time we travel somewhere, we maybe get to prioritize the recommendations we received.
Oh, yes.
Like if someone from Australia is typing in the comment, it might be like, well, Tim Tams. And we're like, yeah, cool, but we don't really have them here. Although I've had them when I was there. And yes, they're good. But then, you can prioritize the thing when we visit the place, right? Like maybe some people are like, what on earth are dinosaurs? Next time they're in Belgium, they can have it.
They're called dinosaurs.
Yeah.
I missed that the first time. I thought it was like a fancy French word.
Oh, no, they're like dinosaurs. Dinosaurs.
Oh my gosh, I did not catch that the first time you brought them up. Even cooler.
Yeah, they're a kid cookie. So I'm a big kid at heart. So I'm cool with that. And FYI, they're also my dad's favorite cookies. So basically, we're right.
I can agree with you and your dad. They sound great. Anything shaped like a dinosaur that's edible sounds like a dream.
Oh, dear. All right. Actually, had a second question.
Next question.
Yes. What's the deal with self-care? What is it? What is it about? And how can I do this, quote unquote, self-care?
I'm so excited you asked this because I've started a new self-care routine recently.
Okay. Tell us all about it.
I kind of mentioned this on my podcast. This is kind of like my morning routine. Self-care can be any time of day, FYI. But what I like to do is I like to wake up, get a nice hot beverage, chat with my parents, say good morning because I'm home for the summer, eat breakfast with them. I try to keep it quiet though, because I like quiet mornings. So I can't stay too long because then my peace and quiet like becomes a full blown conversation for like an hour. So I'm like, hello, good morning. Love you guys. I'm going downstairs. So then I creep back downstairs with my coffee. I wrap myself in a blanket. I lounge on the couch. I turn on some soft jazz, like New York jazz. Like, I don't even know what that means, but it just reminds me of like New York City movies, like The Snow Softly Falling and like Meg Ryan or whatever, like something like that. And I will go on Pinterest and create Pinterest vision boards for my life. I do that for 15 minutes, maybe 20. I can do it for a full hour. I have to consciously stop myself. And it's really fun for me. It gets me like believing what's possible for my life. And it helps me get very clear on things that
it's a visualization exercise.
Yeah, it's a manifestation or visualization with actual visuals. Mm-hmm. And so I'll go in, I'll look at previous pins. I'm turning it into a whole collage. And it's so relaxing. And then I will journal. If I have time, I will journal after that, like maybe about my visualizations. And then as I'm getting ready for the day, I will listen to affirmations of self-love and self-worth. And sometimes positive morning, like affirmations, like, I don't know, there's one that's like best affirmations to start the day. And I will do that. And it is awesome. I love affirmations. I know it's so corny, but I'm actually one of those people who listens to them and it makes me feel so much better. It really does get me in a good mood.
Huh, that's so cool. So why is this routine your self-care? Why did you think of this when I asked what's the deal with self-care and what is it?
Why is it my self-care routine? Yeah. Well, I feel it's setting my day up for success and it's reminding me of my big picture. And I feel like that's a form of taking care of myself because it helps me get intentional. Like it's an intentional start of the day. And I remind myself kind of like what I'm here to do that day, right? It also gives me a little bit of hope and inspiration. So it makes me feel really warm and fuzzy. So that's like my self-care as of right now.
Yeah. How do you know that you need more of it? Say, like, I don't know, you know how sometimes we're like, oh, life is life. And so we'll take extra care of ourselves. How do you know that that's the case for you? And what would then self care be like?
If I needed more of it,
Yeah.
well, I mean, my other go-to self-care at this point would be journaling when I feel like I need to release my emotions.
Mm.
So for me, also, it's consciously being aware of when I'm feeling some tough emotion come up or difficult emotion, just recognizing that and turning to journaling and getting it out on paper. That's really my like anytime, anywhere self care or reading my Kindle. Those are two things I can keep in a bag. Like literally, when I was traveling, I could throw it in my little recovery collective tote. And if I was feeling, because I was healing a breakup, as you know, which I've talked about. So if anything came up emotionally, I had something to turn to.
Mhm.
And it was really helpful to kind of like coping skills too. But what
Yeah,
about you?
it sounds like tuning in or like being distracted.
Yeah, reading would be like a distraction, or sometimes if you're really bored, if I'm bored, that can quickly turn into a negative emotion. I don't know.
Mhm.
My brain's like, boredom's not enough. Let's take it down to fear.
Let's get anxious about everything we ever said, did, and all the things that are going to come up.
Yeah. So I think like they're two different things. Like the journaling's definitely a coping skill. And then reading is also kind of distraction, but also kind of self care because it's an escape and it's fun and it's
Mm.
tech free, really. I know it's technically a Kindle, but if you
There's
don't
not
have,
like all the messages and stuff that you get on a
yeah,
phone.
it's distraction free, I feel disconnected. So those are my other things that I'm currently doing. And I do want to let everyone know that this is always subject to change for anyone. You should be experimenting consistently.
How would you talk about self care with a client?
How would I talk about
What
self
does that
care?
look like in recovery?
What does that look like in recovery? Well, I think self care requires, first of all, like I was just saying, some experimentation. Like, I really recommend getting clear on all the different types of self care out there. And it can be a cookie cutter version, like what you hear, like taking a bubble bath, like journaling, listening to music, or it can be something really quirky. So I do encourage my clients to look for something that's kind of like their signature self-care. Like it's very unique to them, like my Pinterest and coffee in the morning and like my little visual thing that I'm starting to do. That's kind of like my quirky version of self-care. So I kind of explain to them that it's an exploration process and you need multiple versions of self-care to kind of satisfy your needs depending on like what you're needing in that moment. So kind
Yeah,
of
I
what
love that you say that. When you say that, there's like two things that really stand out to me. It's like, what do you actually need, as the base question? And then try different things because you're you. We like things, you like things, different people like different things. And those are two really important questions. And well, one is a question, the other one is a direction. But it's important to remember that there's no such thing as just the one solution for everyone, right? That would be way
right.
too easy.
Right. And it's very affirming when you get clear on the self care that works for you. So I think that's really my first tip. And then my second tip would be get clear on it. And then also, it's okay to plan it into your day too. Like sometimes you need to plan it in. Like if you have a food challenge with your coach, plan some self care after that call, right? Plan some self care after a difficult exam that you just took. Plan some self care after, doing a social event. Maybe you have social anxiety and you come back home and you know that you're likely to binge eat after that. It's like turn to maybe a self care practice instead. So I love the idea of planning in self care if you have the ability to do so. So anyway, Anne Claire, you've asked me like 3 questions in a row, and I feel like I want to turn the tables and ask you, first of all, what is your go-to self-care routine or just like activities? Maybe it's not a routine.
Yeah, it's definitely not a routine right now, currently in life. I was about to say maybe it should be, but I'm not going to start shooting myself. So
Yeah, don't
it's
shoot
just
yourself.
not.
I think routines are rare. Like sometimes your life like a routine fits into your life,
Yeah.
but sometimes
I'm trying though. Like I'm trying, like, because now it's been around like a year-ish that I've turned into a full-time coach. And so for a year, I didn't really prioritize having a routine because it just didn't fit. There was so much to discover, so much to do, and things to try, and business to build, and yada yada. So I was fine to not have it. But then after a year, I was definitely being like, okay, let's observe what's working, what doesn't work. And I know that one important thing that I'm trying to work on right now is what is it that I actually need that I've been totally ignoring for a while that I could maybe bring back in and have a bit of more of a discipline, right? With a certain kind of routine that would be helpful. Because here's the thing about self-care. There's the fun kind of self-care, and then there's the self-care that you know you need, but that's not really easy to do, you know?
like,
for example, for me, going out of my apartment, getting some fresh air, going for like even a short walk, but outside of this like place, and seeing trees, like real ones, and touching them maybe. Or there's like a park nearby that has like ducks and stuff, which I love. So going there for a walk, watching the ducks, coming back, this is self-care. I know it is, because I know it makes me feel better because I'm out of the exact same environment. And I know that it's good to be in nature because it just does magic to me. But it's hard self-care right now because it's not in my current routine. It's not a habit. And I know I can feel when I'm getting a bit like tense from not going outside. And I'm not the only one who notices. So I'm trying, right? But this is a hard kind of self-care, kind of like calling to make an appointment to see a therapist, a coach, a dietitian, a doctor.
Walking outside and looking at ducks is hard self-care?
Sometimes, yeah, it is hard. For me right now, it's hard. Like I really genuinely have to.
Is it hard to leave the house?
Yeah, it's hard to prioritize because like I'm so like go, go, go. And there's so many things I want to do. And the way my brain functions is I can really easily get like taken into like a thing, and I'm like doing it, and then I'm multitasking, doing a bunch of things, and then suddenly going out seems like a horrible waste of time and energy. And it's really hard sometimes to be like, yes, it's a priority that you're choosing over something else. And I am a human that has a really hard time sometimes to be like, and that's why you need it. And that's fine. Like I know that about myself. And so this is why currently I'm like, okay, let's make certain things a habit again, like leaving the apartment and, you know, not just like being in the doing all the time in here. So yeah, to answer your question with a very long sentence, that is hard self-care right now for me.
Okay, I appreciate that. I honestly see how leaving work and separating from the go, go, go mode takes a lot of effort, and it's a mental effort, and you have to break away, transition out of that mentally, knowing that you're going to have to transition back into it when you get back. But I love the idea of taking a walk. And I do think a change of scenery is always really helpful. Like just in life coaching school, they call that breaking state. Like if you're in a really frazzled state, just changing scenery, like gentle walk through the park or taking a shower.
We know from, you know, neuroscience and all that, that being in a different environment helps to switch patterns that we may have fallen into, right? This is why if you work with an NLP practitioner, they might suggest to change your environment, things in your environment, so that your brain is more open to something that is different, right? Because sometimes I have this discussion with clients. They're like, oh, I did this when I was away, but now I came back home and this became really much harder to do. Why? And it's like, well, because you're in an environment in which the default setting is the old pattern. you're breaking the pattern, and now you're coming back in an old space. So your brain is like, oh, that's where we're going. And you have to intentionally say, no, that's not where we're going. We're changing.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of the same thing. Like, I know that when I feel a bit down, or I have like, a bit of a meh day, it's even harder to go outside, but that's when I need it even more, because staying in the place that has been like nurturing the state of mind is potentially my apartment, not because there's something wrong with it, but simply because that's where I was. And just going out actually will help shift things internally and how I'm experiencing them. Like, you can look at it as moving the energy around, like, dusting your brain or whatever. But there's really power in the change of the setting that you're in when you feel a bit stuck or down or whatever. But yeah, anyways, hopefully that made sense.
Of course it makes sense. And I love that idea. And I think it is important to really change those patterns. And I do think getting out of your routine and going outside when you need to take a break is super helpful. I love that idea. What else do you do, Anne Claire?
Oh, yeah. I'm a big fan of baths. So, well, not right now because it's like 1,000,000 degrees outside. So I'm not going to take a warm bath, but I love baths. I like practicing yoga, although when it has the intention of pure self-care, it will look like rolling my mat like on the floor, sitting on it, moving a little bit, then playing music, journaling, and that will be it. Like, it'll be the yoga meditative gentle style, I guess. But just the fact of rolling my mat open on the floor, it does that thing where it puts me in a different state of mind, in a different energy. And when I step on my mat, it was like, welcome home. Like, because I'm with myself again, instead of being me against myself. Because we know that we all have different tenets in our heads. And even though we don't have an eating disorder self anymore, we still have a critical, part of our mind, or something that's a bit like go mode that I experience regularly. And there's that thing about me and my mat. We have a really good relationship with my mat. So when I roll it open and I step on it, it's as if it was like, okay, inner critic, we've heard enough of you today. We're going to just get back in touch with ourselves now. And it's like, okay, higher self. We're safe. We're fine. We belong here. Let's have a chat. Like,
it's your portal. Your mat is like your portal to your higher self. Of them. It just takes you there. It's anchor, as I say, in neurolinguistic programming. It's an anchor for you to your inner peace and inner calm. So
that's definitely like one of the top choices that I will make. And
my side note real quick. Note. Everyone watching, Anne Claire is the yoga teacher for the Recovery Collective. She does a monthly class. It's usually about an hour and a half. It's virtual. It's very gentle. We turn off our cameras just watching Anne Claire. And it is so relaxing. And Anne Claire also did daily yoga morning practices with us during the Recovery Collective retreat. And can I tell you, I think you converted everyone there into yogis. Like, we didn't come there for the yoga, but we are all now diehard into it. I've seen so many members who were on that retreat just bring it, like, incorporate it more into their life. And I actually went to a yoga class a few weeks back, and I just connected with everything we did every day. And I'm like really into it. I just need to set aside time to practice more often. But I really do thank you for showing us the light, because I never really understood yoga until I went on that retreat.
Oh, thank you. That makes me so happy.
You're welcome.
Yeah, yoga is one of these things. When you do it in the right setup regularly, I feel like everyone can get that experience of the, oh, wow, something's happening, something's shifting. And there's actually a lot of research on that. And we said this was a small tangent, but it's turning into a big tangent. I wrote a paper, right, years ago on my experience in eating disorder recovery and my yoga practice, right? And I tried to understand how those were maybe related. And when I was writing that paper, I was reading all the research. And I found it fascinating because they really did see and observe and talk to people and confirmed, like, yeah, there is something that is happening when people are on a mat and take those types of classes that are like obviously tailored for ideally eating disorder recovery or gentle kind of yoga, etc. And there's genuinely something that can happen and help you there and open certain doors of you being with yourself and etc. etc. All that to say, yoga is a bit magic.
Mm-hmm. I know it clicked for me. It was the breathing part. That's what clicked in person. Was I figured out the rhythm of the breathing. Mm-hmm. And that is what got me into a zone. That was awesome. So yes.
I'm so happy.
Yeah. Can't wait for our next retreat next year.
Oh, I can't wait. It's hard to talk about what happens on a retreat when you're not on the retreat, right? Because there's of course where you can put words on what you do, but then it's so much more profound. It's so much deeper. And it really is the felt experience. I wish we could just run them as often as we wanted. I mean, not all the time because it's a lot of work and we have other things to do. But it's just it's a golden core memory in my heart.
Yes. Meeting all the members who came, who we've been building relationships with online. That was the coolest part for me.
Mm-hmm. All right. Should we wrap up the self-care thing?
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
So here's the deal. In the same way that we were talking, right? Self-care is about knowing what you actually need. So if you don't know what you need, start there. It sounds so simple and obvious, but it feels like sometimes people want to push self-care in our face and like they give us something and we might try it and get frustrated because it's like, I'm doing this thing, but I'm not feeling better. And yes, to an extent, self-care is experimental. But at the same time, make sure you've actually asked yourself, what's up? What do I need? Pause for a second and explore what need you're trying to find an answer to, and then consider the options that you're being presented, right? And maybe don't fall immediately for the thing that you have to buy to feel better, because I feel like that's a slippery slope where it's like the world is telling you what you should need. And sometimes it sounds like take care of yourself so that you're better for others. And that's not what self-care is. Self-care is what do you need so that you're more okay with yourself when you are a being with yourself. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Because sometimes I have clients that are like, well, I tried the bubble bath and I bought this and I tried this cream and I went and got a massage, and they get frustrated. And it's like, well, what did you need? And they're like, well, I was feeling really sad and I wasn't allowing myself to feel sad. And it's like, well, how is the bubble bath going to help? Like, I love bubble baths, but maybe that was not the answer to this need, right? Bubble baths, I love when I need like a Zen thing, I'm answering the need of, I need calm, I need soothing for my body. And I love being in water and I love the warmth and I love the feeling of floating in the water. And I know that it comes with candles. I'm going all in when I do it. It's candles, it's music, it's like oils in my bath so that the water is nice on my skin, yada, yada. But I don't do that when I need to process emotions.
Yeah.
I do journaling, or I will do the yoga or whatever. And so make sure that you know what need you're trying to answer. Mm-hmm. And when you go through your needs, please don't forget the basic ones like hydration, food, rest, connection. I feel like those are the 4 basic ones. So if you don't know where to start, drink a glass of water, grab a snack, maybe take a nap or plan to go to sleep earlier. and talk to someone that you trust and that you love. That is always a good start. And then the stuff that you'll experiment with, they become your own toolbox and they're going to be just yours. And, just play around with them, change them as often as you need. And take good care of yourself.
Also, when you said difficult self-care, my brain went into the adulting self-care, because that's what's difficult for me. So like it might be making doctor's appointments, picking up a prescription, taking your prescription, paying bills, like things like that is a form of self-care as well. And
it is, because you might have the thing where it's like, I'm feeling anxious and overwhelmed. And then you ask the question, why? Well, because there's all these things that I have to do, but I don't want to do them. And I've been pushing them like off. It's like, well, that's your answer. These the things you need to do.
Well, that's the thing. Like, you feel so good after you do those things too, because especially since it's my difficult self-care. So after I make an appointment for the doctor, I will like brush my shoulders off. I'm like, look at me. I'm so good. I am like fully adulting and I just took care. I feel so good because I got that task out of the way, first of all. And I know that I'm being responsible for myself. So it's like a double win.
I could not agree more. Also, observation from the past few years of trying to do the adulting thing, it's often a lot easier and a lot faster than you think.
Oh, so true. So true. Unless you have unless you have to call insurance in the States and then you're on for at least an hour.
Oh, yeah. No, there are exceptions, obviously, but most of the time I make it into a mountain in my head. And so, of course, I'm procrastinating. And then, of course, it's creating anxiety. And I'm like not feeling great. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And I finally do it. And it's like, well, that wasn't so bad.
Yep. So anyway, I hope everyone enjoyed this episode of the Megan and Claire Show.
Or titled to be determined.
Yeah, we don't have a name for it yet. We will, though, when this gets published.
We will. Or after it's published and someone suggests a really amazing name, and we'll be like, you know what, we'll just change it. And it's fine. I'm good with that.
Well, do you like the Megan and Claire Show?
Yes, but it doesn't really say what we're doing.
Well, that's true, but we could have a tagline.
We could have a tagline.
I don't know. Again, up for discussion at a later time. But anyway, thank you everyone for watching. Thank you, Anne Claire. You are a dream. You're a dream co-host.
Thank you, Meg. Back at ya. Thank you for this chat. Thank you, everyone for watching. Please let us know what you think in the comments. If you share this with other people on your social media, please tag us so that we know. And if you've got extra questions, comments, DMs, box of questions on Instagram, feel free to reach out to us. We love ya. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.